I'm convinced Claude Skills is the most slept on feature in AI right now. It's reusable expertise you build once. It runs on a verified 17 a month plan. It sits on top of Claude's full agentic layer, and almost nobody is actually using it. And the best part is the price. Claude Pro runs $17 a month on annual billing, $20 if you go month to month, and that's it. You're not buying a new tool, you're not hiring a contractor, you're not locked into some enterprise contract, and you get access to the whole skill layer. So in the next few minutes, you're going to walk away knowing exactly what Claude Skills does, which claims about it are actually verified, which ones are community hype with no data behind them, and what you should do today to start using it before everyone else figures this out. My name is Brian, and I'm in these tools 12 hours a day, so you don't have to be. I go through the claims, I check the sources, and I tell you what's actually real versus what's just someone excited on the internet. If you're new here, I read every comment, so drop one below and tell me which AI tool you're currently using the most. So, here's what's happening right now. Most people using Claude are getting genuinely good results. The base model is strong, the chat interface is clean, and just prompting it well gets you pretty far. I'm not going to pretend the default Claude experience is bad, because it isn't. It handles a huge range of tasks without you having to configure anything. But there's a massive problem. Every single session, you start from zero. Claude doesn't know your codebase, your tone, your workflow, your preferences, and you can't save any of that context or make it yours. You're renting a brain and returning it at the end of every conversation. Claude Skills exists specifically to fix that, and most people have no idea it's there. Okay, so the first claim making the rounds is that most Claude users are only touching about 15% of what Claude Code can actually do. MCP, skills, subagents, hooks, all of it sitting there unused. If that's even close to true, it means there's a real gap between what you're getting and what you could be getting. When I tried to trace this 15% figure back to something solid, here's what I found. The full stack includes MCP integrations, skills, subagents, hooks, and the list goes on. But the source is a single blog post, no survey, no telemetry, no methodology. The label on screen reads, community reported, not verified, and that's exactly right. Now, is it plausible? Yeah, I think so. Most people I talk to aren't using hooks or subagents at all, but plausible and verified are two different things, right? Take the 15% number as a useful mental model, not a hard fact. The real point is that there's probably a lot more on the table than you're currently using. The second claim is the one that gets people really excited. The community is saying that adding Claude Skills feels like upgrading a single monitor to a dual setup. And that's a strong analogy, so it's worth actually looking at what's behind it before you get too hyped. When I tried to find the data behind this, here's how the options stack up. You can take the community's word for it, which is the easiest path, or you can look for a controlled A/B test or time tracking study, which would be more convincing, or you go get your hands dirty and find out yourself. The verdict on screen says, no controlled experiments back the productivity gain. And that's accurate. The hard truth is this is a feel thing, not a data point. The dual monitor analogy resonates because it captures something real about how reusable context changes your workflow. But there's no A/B test, no time tracking, no task completion data behind it. It's a strong testimonial from power users, and it's worth taking seriously, just not as a hard fact. Now the third claim is the one that really got my attention. The idea that 95% of Claude users aren't using skills at all, not occasionally skipping it, just completely ignoring it every session. If that's anywhere near true, it means the people who do use it are getting a pretty serious advantage over everyone else. I'll be straight with you. When I first saw this, I thought it was another one of those 95% of people are missing out stats you see constantly. But then I actually tried it and went looking for the source, and the surprise is that there isn't one. What I found says, no telemetry or survey data supports it, and that's right, it's a Substack estimate with no citation and no methodology. So treat the 95% as a rhetorical device, not a fact. What it's really pointing at is a real behavior pattern, because a lot of people do use Claude like a contractor they hire and fire each session, starting fresh every time. That mental model is useful even if the specific number isn't sourced, and the behavior it describes is worth thinking about for your own workflow. Alright, quick pause. If this is already useful, hit subscribe because the next video goes deeper into how to actually build your own skills from scratch, and it builds directly on what we're covering right now, so you don't want to watch that one cold. Now we get into the claim that sounds the most like a real benchmark. The idea that a code review skill gives you 39.3% more precise comments than the baseline and catches bugs at a 55.2% rate versus 61.1% without it. Those are specific numbers, which is exactly why I went looking for the source pretty carefully. So I tried to trace both numbers back to a published source, and I couldn't find either of them. The 39.3% precision figure, the 55.2% versus 61.1% bug catch comparison, neither appears in any source I could actually pull up. What's shown on screen says, no published source contains these specific figures, and that matches what I found. These numbers are unsubstantiated. Does that mean a code review skill is useless? Not at all. The concept is sound. You write a skill that tells Claude exactly how you want code reviewed, your standards, your patterns, your team's conventions, and you get consistent output every time, which is genuinely useful. But the specific percentages floating around have no verified source, so I'd set them aside and focus on whether the workflow actually helps you. Okay, the fifth claim is the one with actual verified data behind it. The idea that Claude Pro at $20 a month returns value worth multiple thousands of dollars. And one part of that is a hard fact I can show you, but the other part is a community assertion with no controlled study behind it. And I want to be clear about which is which. So here's what's actually verified. Claude.com pricing confirms $17 a month on annual billing, $20 a month if you go monthly, and that's a hard number I can point to. The multiple thousands in returns claim depends entirely on your use case, and no controlled study has measured it, so the rate on screen calls it verified pricing only, and that's the honest take. The ROI is real, but it's highly use case dependent and pretty much unmeasured. If you're a developer running the same workflows every day, the value of a well-built skill compounds fast, but if you're a casual user, it might not move the needle at all. The price is low enough that trying it for 1 month costs less than a lunch. Just don't expect the thousands in returns claim to hold for everyone. So here's the real gap. People without Claude Skills are re-explaining their workflow every single session, writing the same prompt from scratch every day, and constantly re-onboarding Claude at what amounts to a contractor rate, while you're on $17 a month with reusable expertise that compounds over time. Claude Skills has real problems too, though. The marketplace is fragmented, quality is inconsistent, and users who tried 20 popular skills reported most of them weren't worth using. The discoverability curve is steep, and you don't know what's good until you've already wasted time on what isn't. I also want to be straight with you. I have no relationship with Anthropic, and nothing here is sponsored. I'm just telling you what the evidence actually shows. So here's what you should do. First, go to Claude.com pricing today and confirm the $17 annual or $20 monthly rate for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Verify it in 2 minutes. Second, open Claude and find the skills section. Just locate it. You don't have to install anything yet. Just get familiar with where it lives. Third, pick one repetitive task you do in Claude at least 3 times a week. Something where you're re-explaining the same context every time, because that's your first skill candidate. Fourth, either find a community skill that covers it or write a simple one yourself this afternoon. And don't overthink it, because one good skill built around your actual workflow is worth more than 20 mediocre ones from the marketplace. Within 2 years, the people who figured out reusable AI context early are going to look back and wonder how everyone else was starting from zero every single session. The price is verified at $17 a month. The hype numbers are mostly community anecdotes, but the core concept of owning your context instead of renting it is real, and you're early. And the next video covers how to actually build your own Claude skills from scratch, step by step, with real examples, so hit like and subscribe, because that one is going to be way more hands-on than this, and you'll want what we covered today fresh in your head going into it.